Hi everyone, welcome back to the Hisay family, where forgotten Filipino history finally comes to life. Today, we're diving into a discovery that could change everything. The Philippines has just uncovered an estimated $4 trillion worth of rare earth minerals, and China is panicking. This is a story that could rewrite what we thought we knew about our future. In 2024, Philippine scientists confirmed something that could shake the global economy to its core. Hidden beneath the ocean floor off the coast of Luzon lies an enormous deposit of rare earth minerals, valued at around $4 trillion. That's not an exaggeration. $4 trillion. To put that into perspective, that's nearly 20 times the Philippines' entire GDP. Enough wealth to potentially transform the country into one of the richest nations on Earth. But here's the catch. China currently controls about 90% of the global rare earth supply, and they've just realized that the Philippines could destroy that monopoly. That's why Chinese vessels have suddenly flooded Philippine waters. This isn't about fishing. This is about the most valuable minerals on the planet. Let me explain why rare earth minerals matter, because this is the key to understanding China's reaction. Rare earth elements are a group of 17 critical metals that power modern civilization. They're inside your smartphone, your laptop, electric vehicles, wind turbines, solar panels, and advanced military systems. Missile guidance, fighter jets, precision weapons, none of these exist without rare earths. Right now, China dominates this supply. That gives them enormous geopolitical power. They can restrict exports, manipulate prices, and decide which countries and industries thrive or collapse. It's the ultimate economic weapon. But the Philippines may have just found enough rare earths to challenge that control, and China knows it. Over the past 2 years, Chinese Coast Guard ships, fishing fleets, and maritime militia vessels have dramatically increased their presence in Philippine waters. They're not fishing, they're positioning, preparing to stake claims before the Philippines can fully develop these resources. Because if the Philippines successfully extracts these minerals, China loses its grip on the global economy. If stories like this amaze you, help us reach our 500-like goal, drop a comment with your favorite fact, and subscribe to join the Histo PH family. So, how did this discovery happen? In 2023, Philippine and international scientists conducted deep-sea surveys off the coast of Cagayan Valley in northern Luzon. Using advanced sonar mapping and underwater drones, they explored the ocean floor. And what they found stunned the scientific community. Vast concentrations of neodymium, dysprosium, praseodymium, and other rare earth elements were detected. These weren't minor finds. This could be one of the largest rare earth deposits ever discovered. Some estimates value it at $4 trillion. Others believe it could be worth even more, depending on future extraction technology and global market demand. Here's why these minerals are so valuable. Neodymium is essential for powerful magnets used in electric motors and wind turbines. Without it, efficient electric vehicles simply wouldn't exist. Dysprosium allows magnets to function in extreme temperatures, making it critical for military hardware and advanced electronics. And this is only the beginning of what these resources could mean for the Philippines and the world. Praseodymium is used in aircraft engines, fiber optic systems, and heavy-duty industrial magnets. These aren't luxury materials. These are the foundations of the 21st century economy, and the Philippines just discovered trillions of dollars worth sitting beneath its ocean floor. Now, this is where the story turns geopolitical. The United States, the European Union, Japan, and South Korea are all racing to reduce their dependence on Chinese rare earths. For decades, they've watched China weaponize its control over supply. In 2010, China cut off rare earth exports to Japan during a territorial dispute. Japanese factories nearly ground to a halt. In 2019, during the US-China trade war, China openly threatened to restrict rare earth exports to American companies. That threat alone sent shockwaves through the global tech and defense industries. Everyone knows China has too much control. But until now, there was no real alternative. The Philippines could change that. If the Philippines successfully mines these deposits and exports them to the US, Europe, Japan, and other allies, China's stranglehold breaks. Competition returns, prices stabilize, supply chains diversify, and China loses one of its most powerful tools of influence. That's an existential threat to Chinese geopolitical strategy. And that's why China is panicking. So what is China doing right now? Chinese vessels are swarming waters near the mineral deposits. They're harassing Filipino fishing boats, blocking Philippine Coast Guard ships, building artificial islands and military installations in disputed areas. And they're claiming these waters under the so-called 10-dash line, a claim we've already debunked in a previous video. But this time, it's not just about territory. It's about $4 trillion in rare earth minerals. Here's the hard truth. The Philippines doesn't yet have the technology to mine deep-sea rare earths on its own. These deposits sit thousands of meters below the ocean's surface. Extracting them requires specialized vessels, underwater robots, and cutting-edge processing systems. That technology costs billions, and the Philippines doesn't have it, which means partnerships are inevitable. And that's where the United States, Japan, and Australia enter the picture. In 2023, the United States signed an agreement with the Philippines to expand military access under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. Officially, it's about security. But look at where the new bases are located. Northern Luzon, right near the rare earth deposits. Coincidence? Not even close. The US understands that if China controls Philippine rare earths, American technology and defense industries are vulnerable. So Washington is positioning itself to help the Philippines extract these resources while keeping China out. Japan is doing the same. In 2024, Japan pledged billions of dollars in infrastructure investment to the Philippines, funding ports, roads, and energy projects. But behind the scenes, Japan is also exploring rare earth mining partnerships. Japan is one of the most resource-poor countries on Earth. They import nearly everything, but they possess world-class technology and capital. A partnership makes perfect sense. Japan provides the technology, the Philippines provides the resources, and both reduce their dependence on China. Australia is also watching closely. Australia has its own rare earth deposits, but many are expensive to mine and process. Philippine deposits could be more viable depending on extraction methods. Australian mining companies are already in talks with the Philippine government about joint ventures. If this comes together, you're not just looking at business deals. You're looking at a US, Japan, Australia, Philippines alliance built specifically to challenge China's dominance in rare earths. And that's not just economics anymore. That's global power shifting. If you want it more aggressive, shorter for short/reels, or more neutral and documentary style, say the word, and I'll tune it exactly to your channel's vibe. That's a powerful geopolitical coalition. But there's a serious problem. Mining rare earth minerals is extremely destructive to the environment. The extraction process relies on toxic chemicals, heavy metals, and enormous amounts of water. When done recklessly, it poisons rivers, destroys marine ecosystems, and contaminates drinking water. We've already seen this play out in China. Entire regions near Chinese rare earth mines are environmental disaster zones. Pollution is widespread. Cancer rates are unusually high. Workers suffer from long-term illnesses. And the Chinese government looks the other way because rare earths are simply too valuable. So the question is, will the Philippines repeat the same mistake? Environmental groups across the country are already raising red flags. They warn that deep-sea mining could devastate marine life. Ocean floor ecosystems are incredibly fragile. Once destroyed, they don't recover in years, but in centuries. And if mining waste is dumped into the ocean, it doesn't stay put. It spreads for hundreds of miles. Fishermen are worried. Coastal communities are worried. Because if profit is prioritized over protection, it won't be corporations that suffer. It will be ordinary Filipinos. And that brings us to the other complication, corruption. The Philippines has a long and painful history of resource extraction deals that enrich foreign corporations and corrupt politicians, while leaving local communities with nothing. Look at mining in Mindanao. Look at logging in Palawan. Billions in resources are taken out. Politicians get kickbacks. Communities are left with polluted rivers and destroyed forests. If rare earth mining follows that same pattern, it would be a national tragedy. The country would sell its future for short-term gain, and China would still benefit because Chinese firms can always invest through proxy companies and shell corporations. Now let's talk numbers. If the Philippines extracts and sells $4 trillion worth of rare earths over the next 30 years, that's roughly $130 billion every single year. Managed properly, that money could fund universal healthcare, world-class education, infrastructure that rivals Singapore, and finally lift millions of Filipinos out of poverty. But if it's handled the way past resource deals were handled, it will simply create a handful of oligarchs, while the majority of Filipinos see nothing. That's the choice. And right now, it's unclear which path the government will take. Now here's what China is doing behind the scenes. China isn't relying on ships alone, it's applying economic pressure. Chinese companies are quietly offering the Philippine government lucrative partnerships in rare earth extraction. The pitch is simple. We have the technology. We have the capital. We'll build the infrastructure and we'll share the profits. It sounds tempting, but it's a trap, because if Chinese companies control the extraction, they control the supply. And the entire point of Philippine rare earths is to break China's dominance. Partnering with China defeats that purpose completely. Yet some Filipino politicians are still tempted. Why? Because Chinese investment comes with fewer strings attached. The US and Japan demand transparency, environmental protections, and anti-corruption safeguards. China doesn't. They don't ask questions, they just want access. For corrupt officials, that makes Chinese deals far more attractive. It's easier to skim money off the top without oversight. And that's exactly what China is counting on. They're betting that corruption will give them access, even if the Philippines officially aligns with the US and Japan.